Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Comics News Today. I am Chester C. Busby III, and of course, I am joined by the Denali Lama. How you doing today, Denali? I see. Yeah, no, we don't get much cold where I am. It's we have a fairly warm winter, I would say, but it is a nice day for me, so I'm enjoying that. And of course, I'm in the morning and you're in the night, so it's certainly different opinion on weather, I would say. But nevertheless, we're going to be talking about the news here today, of course, and we have some interesting stories for you guys. But before we do that, of course, we want to talk about all our links down below. Now, of course, we have our FanSpeak Facebook group, and we'd really love for you to come over and be part of that and get involved in what we're doing. That's that we're having a lot of fun over there, and we're organizing and getting people together. And of course, I also have down there my links for Chester C. Budsby third on Facebook as well as my Twitter. And if you want to be on the show and you want to join us, just come over there and tell me so, because this show is created for the fans, and we want to hear the fans speak. We want your opinion. Like for instance, E. Ortiz has just come in, and E. Ortiz does quite a bit of streaming, especially over on Manny's channel and his own as well, I think. But we'd love to have Jimmy up in here with us, man. It'd be great. Of course, Tank Ferret is down there. I think he's having some technical troubles again, but hopefully he will be able to get those fixed and be able to come over here and join us. But other than that, we also have our podcast, which I update, put a couple in there every couple of days or so, and little by little, it'll become a complete catalog of our work on audio. Also, we do have some donations down below, and those donations allow you to help us with giveaways and things like that. Giving out, like for instance, we gave out Craven's Last Hunt a little while ago, and Trusty Sidekick won that. So we would like to do more of that. And if you guys are interested in getting involved in that, awesome. Go ahead and throw some donation down there, and it can help us support us in handling doing that. Other than that, Danelli, you have anything you want to announce today before we get into the news? New Hero Comics. Yeah, that's right. Over there with Hillel. Yeah, I love Hillel. A really nice fella. I enjoy him quite a bit. Yes, and he's got a very quaint and fun art style as well. He's an artist, and we really like Hillel. So it's going to be a lot of fun today, and we might even have a special guest. It looks like so. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out. But yeah, though that's in a couple of hours, so definitely everybody go and check that out later. And of course, we do have FanSpeak this Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will have far more guests in here at the time because we try to keep the comics news tight and small so we can get through the news and get some good commentary. All right, well, let's go ahead and go over here to the chat and say hello to a few people before we jump into the news, Denelli. Um, I see Joshua Hughes, our most favorite troll, is here, and he says, "Hail Raven," as usual. March Hare is here. Oh, they can't hear you. Well, do we need to hear you? I don't know. Let me check. That's true. You could do that. How about now?
I don't know. Can everybody hear me? Hello.
Yay! We can hear you for sure. All right, guys.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now
Captain Canada.
he can
Yo.
hear us both. All right. Well, let's see. March Hare, hello. Nice to see you. Tank Ferret says monkeys in the Jeffrey tubes gnawing on the plasma manifolds. Yep. That's exactly what it is. The Willie Mammoth is with us. Hello, how you doing? He says hello, friends, and I say hello back. We have Draken with us, and we have Argos Creations, and Dave is joining us. Hoth Rebel 86 is here. Sierra Whiskey in the house. Greetings. Let's see, we got Ray Thulu in here. Captain Canada Paul is in here. Excellent. Look at all these people showing up to join us for the comics news today. And just keep in mind, guys, as we go along, if you have any comments or any questions or anything like that, you just go ahead and throw them in the chat and we will talk about them. All right. We got 20 people up in here, Janelli. I think it's time to jump over and talk about the news. And we do have some interesting news today, I think. Some fun news, actually, which is good because sometimes the news isn't so fun, huh, Danelli?
Absolutely. So we can enjoy all the funs we can.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
hate Monday and I love lasagna. Hanging with the crew. Yeah.
Sweet. I'm assuming that's a Garfield reference.
Right.
hmm
Because you were John right there and I was Garfield. Just
Sweet. Okay. Well, that's nice. I don't know if I maybe I'd be better be Opie. Is that the dog's name?
OP, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just barking.
Yeah, that would probably be better. Anyway, guys, now we have been talking about this every time we have that opportunity, and we have some new news on it, which is wonderful. And the Eternals movie compared to Guardians of the Galaxy by Kevin Feige. That's pretty interesting. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks what's going on here, Denelli?
So yeah, so in a based on a video that was done a couple weeks back, which was the Ryman Art Foundation, he mentions a couple things other, but this part of the segment of the interview, he's talking about people being unfamiliar with the Eternal, and he mentioned that your reaction of not being familiar with the Eternal is perfect because most people weren't familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, and believe it or not, there were people not familiar with Avengers or with Iron Man. So for us, it's finding the great story, whether people have heard of them or not, and bringing them to the big screens as an amazing way we can. So basically, it's kind of like a blank check that there's no expectations for this property that they have to adhere to,
hmm
unlike like Captain America or the Incredible Hulk or Spider-Man kind of deal. They can play around with it. It doesn't have to necessarily be the Eternals from the comics or things, which could be very good, if they do it right, like they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, if they find the right director to make this, right tones for the Eternals, or it could fall apart like the Justice League in the worlds of DC. But like you say, it and Kevin Feige we trust, and so far he hasn't let us down thus far.
This far, and we have to say trust in Feige until we can, But it's a good point
Mhm.
because us deep comic book nerds know who the Guardians of the Galaxy are, but I know a lot of comic book people that have no idea who they are. I mean, other than I saw a cover once. So when that came out, I was like, "Ooh, that's a really unknown property." But boy, did they knock that out of the park. I mean, in all honesty, those Guardians of the Galaxy movies might well be the fan favorites overall from all those 20 something movies that have come out of the MCU, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm jumping in and out, so you may want to check my audio. Um, but yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, what comes up for these upcoming years, 2019, 2000, and 2020
Yeah. Yeah, no,
deal.
yeah, because we're really concerned about the Captain Marvel thing, especially because of the storyline they're going with. But just because they're using that storyline doesn't mean they can't, you know, do it a better, stronger screenplay. It's not like she is writing the screenplay, right? I mean, so we just have to we have to keep a positive hope about it and keep our fingers crossed. And this right here, I'm really looking forward to. This could be a lot of fun. And in essence, what they're going to, I don't know what they're going to do with this, but I have a feeling they're going to introduce this more as the gods of the past, which would be the smart move. And we'll see. We'll see. But I'm really looking forward to. I enjoyed the Eternals quite a bit myself. And yes, you guys, I do see that his name was not Opie. It is Odie. You are right. Thank you very much. And I did check all your levels and stuff like that. And although we are certainly getting some playback on your side coming through your mic, your actual levels are fine. So there
Okay.
is there is some playback coming on your side, but now there isn't. So you did something good. All right. Well, anything to add to that, Denali? I think we covered that pretty well.
Absolutely. Let's move it on.
Excellent. Now, oh, hold on a second. Just before we go to that one, oh, look here. See right here? That is Blade. I love Blade 1. I like Blade 2 a lot too, although I think the first one was the most popular. But I think I'm not sure. Maybe you can help me, Denelli, but would he be considered a black superhero? Just, out of
Mm,
curiosity.
I don't know. Is he dark enough?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I
Hmm.
mean, he is a daywalker, so
He
you know.
is. He is, But oh well. Because I
Oh
love
wow.
Blade, and I love Wesley Snipes too, because he's always
Mhm.
fun. I love him. Actually, one of my favorite Wesley Snipes movie is The Art of War. You ever see that?
Yeah,
I
it
like
was
that
very
one.
good.
But, we're going to have to ignore him, guys, because this article is talking specifically more about the Oscars and a Best Picture or a Best Actor, I guess. But this article is just a continuation of the same noise we've been seeing. They keep talking about Black Panther, the very first black hero movie ever. It's not. We keep hearing a lot of things about the first female superhero or this and this and that. Once again, it's not. They talk about in the comics that Miss Marvel is the first Muslim hero ever. No, she's not. They've had him for a long
No,
time, dude.
no. What all this is? Let's clap ourselves in the back, people. Let's forget history.
This is
There's
true.
no things. Let's clap. Clap for the fall of films.
It is sad, ladies and gentlemen. The Denali Lama is being sarcastic. Hmm. But yeah, no, it's just they keep on with this nonsense. I mean, talking about the Miss Marvel thing, I do recall our very own Ethan Van Sciver creating a character. What was that one called? Dust. I'm pretty sure he made
Right.
Dust, didn't he? Oh yeah, yeah. Was
Yeah.
that an Arabic character? Was that a Muslim?
Correct.
Oh, it was, right? But no, this is same nonsense. Now this here is being a little more specific, and I believe it's as far as I know, it may well be true. I guess there hasn't been. Now is this talking about the nomination? This is for Best Picture. Have we ever
Correct.
had a superhero movie nominated for Best Picture? That's a good question. I
Not for
don't
Best
know.
Picture, but for supporting cast actor was the only one for Heath Ledger with Batman's The Dark Knight. That's the only one that I can recall top of my head. But there hasn't been any superhero film that's been nominated for Best Picture.
Okay, well there you go. That answers that. Um, it is interesting over here in the chat. There are some opinions. Tank says the Eternal should be a space opera like Guardians of the Galaxy. And it sounds like that's what they're doing, and that's would be awesome. I think they're gonna have to twist it up. They can't do the same exact thing, but Um, Winston says still not as good as Howard the Duck. Okay, fine. um, Paul says, but then it could be me. I just watched my YouTube feed mute itself. Yeah, well, those things do happen. Unfortunately, the internet has been really sketchy the past few weeks. YouTube itself, of course, absolutely crashed, which is interesting because you don't hear many people talking about it. But yeah, the internet has been a bit odd lately, so who knows what's going on.
Well, speaking of Howard the Duck, we had a guest called James Huddle. Remember that guest from
James Hudnall,
Fanspeak?
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a
Yeah.
great guest, yeah.
Well, he on his channel, he had interview or is going to interview. I'm not quite sure. The co-creator of Howard the Duck. So you may want to check his channel to see that interview if he hasn't
Ooh,
already done that.
that is neat, and we can't we're not going to confirm anything yet, but it looks like we might be getting an interesting and different guest ourselves for FanSpeak this week, which is really cool because
Mm-hmm.
we've talked to artists, we've talked to writers, and boy, wouldn't it be interesting to talk to a colorist? That would be
Right
interesting,
on.
I think. Right on, yeah.
Yeah.
But continue over here in the chat. Inkwell says, "Great job last night, Tank Ferret, on Drawn and Quartered. Love the Spidey. I voted for you. So did I." Now, guys, here's something that I want to talk. I want to take a minute, Denelli, and I want to talk about this a little bit. I know we're in the middle of this silly Oscar news, but we'll get back to it. But here's the thing, guys. That straw poll that we have available on the internet, there's two of them. They don't work very well because I know Tank got more votes than was registered. But keep in mind that the other guys probably did too, right? So it doesn't work well. It simply doesn't work, and it's not good for what we're doing. But luckily, we have a Pixel Trader to the rescue because Pixel Trader is in the process of creating his own straw poll that will work, a dedicated straw poll for the indie revival community. So that is awesome. Once again, Pixel Trader is awesome. If you haven't checked out his indie crime, please do. So just be patient with that. I know it's frustrating because it's frustrating to me as well. But we're working on fixing that. So Pixel Trader is improving the internet, is what he's doing. How awesome is that?
And hopefully he unveils that uh, poll on Drawn and Quarter Fan Edition and be the first.
Oh, I'm sure he will, dude. That's his creation, so of course he will, I'm sure. And I don't know, I haven't heard him mention that it's ready to go today, but I do know he's working on that, and when it is up, we will use that, and that will help a lot, I think. But yeah,
No,
great job, Tank. I mean, I voted for you
no,
too, brother.
no, absolutely. And I didn't mean like tonight, but I'm saying when it's done to be unveiled at Drawn and Quarter Fan Editions, it's only proper.
No, I agree. I agree. Tank Ferret also says, liked and shared. Well, thank you very much, Tank. And of course, you guys hitting that like button certainly helps with the algorithms. Hitting and subscribing to the channel, of course, is wonderful. And we appreciate everybody who does that. But the biggest thing you can do to help is hit that share button and send it out to your friends and family. That's the thing that helps us the most. So if you could do that for us, we'd really, really appreciate it. But let's continue on here. DeWolf says, I miss Alita, Charlie 27, and Nikki. Now he's talking about the original Guardians of the Galaxy there. And yeah, well, we got to see him at the end of the second one, huh, Denali? They had a little cameo at the end, a little after movie trailer. I don't know what they call that. Credits drop? I don't know. What do they call those
Mid
segments?
mid credit scenes.
Mid-credit scenes. There you go. That's
Mm.
why we have the Denali Lama with us. And yeah, so that was kind of cool, and it was interesting having uh, Sylvester Stallone be one of them. But I don't know if we'll get that. But hey, with all the debacle with James Gunn and Dave Bautista and all that stuff, maybe it would be kind of cool to go back and do the original team. I don't know.
Well, here's an interesting thing. It's that in the recent comics that they introduced a new lineup of Guardian of the Galaxy, which included Nova Prime, uh, Ghost Rider, and a
Hmm.
few other superheroes
Yep.
to the Guardian of the team. So who knows? Maybe after this third one that happens in 2020, there's going to be a new lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Maybe, and that would be cool, and that would be, and of course, it's consistent with canon as well. So awesome. Sierra Whiskey says he's agreeing that Wesley Snipes is 100%, and Blade is 100% black superhero. Yeah, I'd agree. Paul says Blade 1 had story. Blade 2 and 3 were just blood and gore for their own sake. Well, Blade 1 did have a story. Blade 3 was an absolute abomination. Blade 2, maybe its story was less interesting. It was kind of like Aliens 2. I mean, Aliens, the second one in many ways. But the CG and the monster creation in Blade 2 was awesome, man. I loved it. But yeah, no, Blade 1 is certainly the better movie. Sierra Whiskey. Okay, I've got an idea. Hear me out. Hear me out. Blade reboot starring Kevin Hart as Blade. What do you think? What do you think, Denelli? Would that work?
It might as well just cast The Rock as Blade and get it over with.
Yeah, it'd be funny. But if you want to do a comedy Blade, I mean, you could do a complete parody of some kind and call it instead of calling it Blade, call it Butter Knife, and do one of those complete parodies of it. Like you had Scream movies; they love to Wes Craven's Scream movies. They love to parody those. What do they call those? Scary movie, right? Do something like that with Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
Actually, I think it would be hilarious because he can be real funny. Kevin can be funny. Let's see.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's move on because I see a couple Hail Ravens on, and we have something about that.
Oh,
So
we
let's move
do.
to that one.
There's a lot of comments here, and I'm definitely going to come back to them, guys. We enjoy reading your comments and interacting with you. But this right here, guys, I guess my comment about it would be this: I could care less about the Oscars. The Oscars have lost all integrity in the past decade. It's gone down and down and down, and the past few years been horrible. And it's kind of like the Eisner Award with comics. I mean, they are giving them out for political reasons. It absolutely destroys the value of the thing. The Oscars have no value. It's only political. So why would I care anyway? I don't. I care less if they nominate every black movie comes up Best Picture and it wins. I could care less because I know it doesn't have any value because it's not being judged on merit. It's being judged on identity politics. And, as far as what I'm concerned is, so what do you think, Phil?
Oh, you did a booster right there.
I did.
Let's move on. That's what I say.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Now we're going to go right to this one because this one is interesting. And I want to hear what the chat has to say because we do have Raven fans up in here. And the Ravens' origin retold and revamped in DC Inc. First Look. Now, I mean, come on, Denali, help them out, man.
So basically, they're going to redo and retell Raven's origin story to fit more to the DC universe. Raven. So, hey, Raven fan, here's what you got.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what you're saying now, you guys got to help me out because I could not stomach the new Titans, and I do give all of you who are watching it credit for doing so. But from what I understand, Raven is no longer a daughter of Trigon. She's just some mutant or something, a meta. Sorry, DC, but metahuman. But yeah, why would you take away that great story background she has and her fight against her father and her fight about being good and just and righteous? Why would you take that away and just make her an angsty little teenager who has memory loss? Why would you do that? Now I'm assuming the memory loss has something to, in the end they'll probably bring it back to Trigon. But I don't know, man. What do you think about this? And chat, please give us your opinion.
Chat's going to give you your opinion.
I know.
whether we can say it on air or not, that's a whole different story. But they're trying to raise up the profile for DC Teen Titans and kind of streamline and say, hey, this is really the definitive Raven that we're showing, and it's not because of budget reason that we can't really tell the story, and kind of get them all hype up for it. That's my thinking, but all we know is this Newsarama doesn't have an editor because they have a big mistypo in Teen Titans.
Huge.
Point,
obviously they don't. Yeah. This is garbage tier, as Ethan likes to say. Yeah,
exactly. The point is, it's not Raven. They could have stuck some other person in there and told the same story. Raven has her own history, her own values, her own concerns that they kind of strip. This is just generic brand Raven. This is this is where you go to the Family Dollar. You see a Barbie doll, low tier Barbie doll Raven with Raven costume on, and your parent or grandparents say, "Hey, this is the toy you want," and you're like, "No, this isn't Raven. This doesn't even remotely look like Raven. Her coloring is even off."
It is, and look at this interesting little quote right here. This little point right here. This is it. You guys will like this. You like this. Raven remembers how to solve math equations and make pasta, but she can't remember her favorite song or who she was before the accident. Oh, those are completely random things that have no connection to each other, nor are easily removed and separated to make sense at all. Oh, thank you. This is the thinking, right? They're so silly. They think they're clever, but they're not very clever. I think what they need to do is go get some of those experienced fellows, those guys who've been writing for so long, legends. What do you think about that, Denali? Maybe they should get some of those guys, huh?
Yeah, right. Get legends to write the stories. Get good writers. You're crazy talk. People don't read comic for stories. They read it to be represented and be told what is right or wrong.
Exactly. You're wow. It's very. You are enlightened. That is why you're the Denali Lama. And boy, are we salty today. Um, um, the coming up here real quick, and I'm just seeing what you guys are responding to. No. Entertainment. There's some W's and T's and F's, and I don't want to assume what they mean. Oh, that is a W, T, and an F together. So what the? I okay. Um, Emo, yeah, she is very emo. Comic creators are clearly dumb. I won't read that, but I won't chastise you either, Draken. I feel your pain. Ortiz says we are going to stream on my channel at 9ish. Awesome-ish. DC has a huge tank of sharks. Bill says at Argos Creation. Do you think he means by that, Danelli? Hmm.
Um, Sharknado, maybe tornado filled with sharks.
Maybe. Sierra Whiskey says, I've had enough. Now we riot. Raccoon riot, that is. Wink, wink. Got it. Okay. The
There goes
DJD
Trash
show.
Panda.
Yeah. Oh, throwing shade already. All right. Um, uh, John Dillard, Game Assistant says, "Not my daughter." Aloha from the DJD show. Winston Smith says, "Needs to be a trans raven."
Uh, and that kind of actually reminds me when you talked about the DJD show. Give a shout out to Craig from Rebel Alliance. He had, I guess, some cancer in his head, brain cancer, and he's just coming up. So, best
okay.
wishes to him, from all what's going on.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Thank you.
mhm.
And Argos Creation has clarified his point. They put a shark out all the time for jumping the sharks. Yeah, it'll work on my material. I get it. So he's talking about jumping the shark, which interesting reference.
Hey,
Hey, Fonzie. Yeah, sweet. All right, let's go back over here. So there's not much more to say about that, guys, other than if you've been watching Titans, then you know exactly what they're doing. And good luck. Let's go back over. Oh, here's one. Star Wars 9 theory. Kylo Ren is redeemed because of Darth Revan? Don't care. Next,
let's move
Marvel
on.
announces new Daredevil creative team. Let's do this one as our last one. We'll jump in Indie Denali. Go ahead, man.
Sure. So they're announcing a new writer after Charles Soule is leaving the project. It's Chip Zdarsky, and I can't pronounce the name of the artist. I think let me see,
Chip
Marco
Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto.
Cicchetto. Yeah, they're going to be the new Daredevil writers for the next run in 2009. What's your thoughts, Tank? Since you've joined us, and see if you can talk.
Oh man, I don't know. These guys, they're not making decisions based on any merit these days. So, and we've seen previously good writers just go downhill as they've stopped caring about the story and only cared about the political or social message that they're trying to send. So I have no hope for Marvel anymore. I am Senor Pessimismo.
Well, true, true. I understand, but Chip Zdarsky has been improving, dude. He has, and Marco Cicchetto is actually not a bad artist at all.
Well, then I will hold out some hope then.
I mean,
We'll hold
I don't
out
want
some
to
hope.
throw it away. I'm kind of surprised that they jumped Chip over to Daredevil because he was, of course, when he tries to do comedy, as Richard Meyer has showed us, he's horrible, right? But he does the light-hearted Spidey stuff fairly well. I don't know how you deal with a religiously angst Daredevil, though, with that type of mentality. But it should be interesting at least to see. And by the way,
Right.
Tank, congratulations on the Drawn and Quartered yesterday, man. It was really cool to see you on there, and I
Oh,
loved
well,
your
thank you.
yeah, I loved your Spider-Man, man. And a lot of us did vote for you. Unfortunately, those votes did not register. Now, I'm not saying that would have changed the results, but There is a huge problem with that straw poll, and Pixel Trader is trying to fix that. So, but
Rigged,
I
congratulations
don't
to you,
worry.
sir.
rigged
Thank you,
vote.
thank you. I
Rigged.
had fun, and that's all that really matters, right?
Hmm. That's
Right.
right.
So, and we always have to keep a little hope, or else we'll be New 52 DC. I mean, we can't have Mr. Manhattan being the blame of everything.
Oh no,
Well,
we wouldn't want to do that. No, no. And yes, folks, I am shaking my head, even
here's
though this is
here's
radio. Yes.
right. Here's my opinion on Marvel and DC. Marvel and DC, they've transcended the mortal coil of comic books. They've become larger entertainment companies. And I think it's time that they let go of that mortal coil and just gave up comic books and stuck to what they're good at.
Lifestyle brands.
It is. It's time to just for them to abandon that market and let something new take its place.
Yeah, something
They're
new
doing
like
movie and television and multimedia interactive entertainment, and that's great. But they're not good at comics anymore. They've lost touch with that. Probably time for them to move on.
I
step
mean, and
aside
if
maybe.
this, yeah, if the sales continues on, they're going to be forced to do that anyways, and just be the house of ideas in the creative teams.
Absolutely. And if you guys are interested in seeing all those statistics and the various information about budgeting and stuff with the absolute collapse of the comic book industry, you can go check out Tug over on That Umbrella Guy because he does that really, really well. Even though he has a community strike against live streaming, which I'm not sure has been lifted yet. He still has a channel though. So whatever the situation is, if you are interested in that kind of information, uh, Tug is the place to be. March Hare does say that it could be good or a complete dumpster fire. Well, I see your enthusiasm there, March. It's either good or an absolute disaster. There is no middle ground. Can it be just piss poor? How about that? No? Okay. Draken says, I have colored a few pages of fan comics that has a bunch of Comicsgate characters drawn by Render Contender. Some kind of software, I guess. I posted them on Twitter. You guys should go look at them. Dude, you know where else you should post them? Fanspeak. Link down below, please. All right. Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, guys, use the resource, and we have been seeing more and more of you guys actually posting stuff, and we do appreciate it. It's really great to have all that information in one spot. We can all comment on it and read it and enjoy it. So yeah, dude, if you're putting up pictures, go over to Fanspeak and drop them. Now, sure, people like myself or Denali or other people, other members of Fanspeak might see it and grab it and share it, but you should do that yourself. If you guys are putting out art, reviews, you're doing your own streams or whatever, put that stuff on Fanspeak, man. We have no restriction on over there like a lot of the other places do. You are more than welcome to drop what you'd like over there and share what you're doing. That's the whole point, guys. It's the whole point. But we're going to cut away from the news here and we're going to move into Indicron. Now, Marsh here also says he streams on the Umbrella Guy. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. And we have Zack Schneider with us today. Oh, thank you very much, Zach. All right, so Tank, you're with us today. Why don't you go ahead and first thing I want to do, we haven't looked in a while, so let's come down here and see what the total is, huh, Janelli? Look at that.
Ooh-wee.
Yep, pretty high now.
It's growing and
That's
growing.
another same, which
Love
is
that.
$2,375,923 at this time.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man, because I remember the last time I checked that number, it was 22. It was 22. So it has definitely grown. That's wow, it just keeps going and going. That is awesome. But anyway,
Right.
Tank, since you're in here with us today, why don't you go ahead and pick the Indiegogo we're going to talk about today?
Well, let's see here. Oh, let's take a look at Stitchwalker
Stitchwalker.
graphic novel.
All right, and as we see, we're on Indicron here, of course. Indicron is the sponsor of this channel from Pixel Trader, and Indicron is a great resource for the consumer like us, and also the creator. So definitely go in and use that. And of course, just to let you know, we're not pushing it hard yet until December, but Tank and I are involved in a project that's starting to get its wheels greased and moving here. And so we're going to have some time in the future, Tank, that you and I together are going to be here on Indicron. That's going to be exciting.
It's going to be riveting. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, and you also have your own project coming up too, which we should talk about a little bit after we look at the Stitchwalker. But just looking at the front page here, we have the name, we have its current funds, which isn't very high yet, but it has a pretty reasonable goal though. It has a date of 11/26 this month, so it's getting tight, and it science fiction action. What is this for, Janelle? Do you know what this number here is?
Excuse me? Which number?
I believe that's the number of backers.
Oh, the number
Yeah.
of backers. Oh, thank you very much. All right,
Yeah.
so let's get in here and look at that. So only 4 backers for this. All right, well, first thing we see here is the name, Stitchwalker, a smart, gripping, scary, and fun SF tale, exactly like they don't make anymore. Okay, and catchy. United Kingdom, another Brit. Cool. We have one of those videos again, which, might be cool, but it's actually what it's showing isn't so bad, huh, Denelli?
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, again, I think this would be a better showing a full page at the beginning and in the video.
Yeah,
at the
you really
bottom.
want like a splash page.
Yes.
You want a splash, a poster, something that is, honestly, like before you launch your project, you should be teasing your audience with several pictures, and then use the best one and have it in full color, right up there. Bow.
Yep. No, absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Now, why don't you do us a favor here, Tank, and why don't you read this overview that's right here in front of you?
All right, let's see here. Stitchwalker, the Clism book, the first. Okay, that's a little interesting way to title your book. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't fit into English language very well, but I understand that it's a stylized type of thing. I can pick that up. It's a 100-plus page graphic novel that takes all the adventure, mystery, terror, and outright fun of the golden age of science fiction and catapults them into new and uncharted territories, inspired by the likes of Heinlein, Frank Herbert, E. Doc Smith, and the psychedelic wildness of Jack Kirby's later years. Stitchwalker spins a tale of conflict, love, and loss in search for answers to an unimaginable enigma.
With monsters. Well, the first thing I see here that's a problem for me, and maybe you guys don't agree, but first thing I'm seeing, you're name dropping some pretty big names. There are none bigger, and I don't know who you are at all. If I knew who you are, and then you were telling me what you were doing, oh, okay, they're trying to do this style. But oh goodness, I don't know. What do you guys think about name dropping? Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
That should be like later. Like, you don't want that to be in your opening thing. You don't want to name drop in the opening. Like later in the description of your project, maybe you could put. It's totally fine to because people want to get to know you, the creator, and your project too. They want to know your project and they want to know a little bit about you, especially if you don't have a heavy name to be throwing around. So you want to take that and put that down towards the bottom about the author.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, people. You address them. You break the fourth wall. You address them personally. Hey, fan, you there. You're awesome. Thank you for reading all the way down to the bottom of this. So tell me a little about myself, blah, 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 blah. I was inspired by these awesome people.
Yeah, no, they do use
and
the
it
word
comes off totally different.
Yeah, they do use the word inspired, Denelli. They do, yeah.
Well,
but it blends in.
But what I think he was trying to do is try to give descriptors, like shorthand descriptor, like he wanted to invoke the image of those authors. Like this is the style of tones and going with these authors with this book, but it kind of comes off like for yourself and Tank, it comes off the other way where it's saying, oh, he's being inspired with these big name leagues when he's really should have used that more like golden age steampunk action adventure, because he's saying golden age science fiction, so be more descriptive of what sort of golden age science fiction. Like if you're talking like Metropolis, super high tech robotic city, instead of saying Metropolis, or if he's talking about Hennel, stock troopers, intergalactic empire, psychedelic of multi-dimensional transgalactic worlds, the imagination galore kind of deal. Be at this, if you want to do, instead of name dropping, be descriptive of what you're trying to do of your project.
Agreed.
Yeah, I get that. I was just curious. But yeah, no, I get that completely. Well, since we're right here, they do have a featured, which is nice because we've been saying you always should do that. So they do have that, and boy, look at that price. Their featured is a very low entry point, £15. Now, this question is, before we get into that, this question has come up a couple times, guys. Do you think the pound symbol or the pound sign symbol, sorry, do you think this intimidates people?
I think so, because the pound is higher value than the dollar. I think $1.50 in the market right now. So you're paying an extra $1.50. If you're Canadian, that's like another $2 on top of that. So you're paying like about $17 or $18.
Yeah, they're actually a lot tighter. They're a lot tighter right now because of the Trump economy.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew? But if you look here at the yen that is sitting under there, because I'm in Japan, this is, if you just take the decimal point and move it 2 over, so this is basically $21. But in actuality, it's the yen, of course, is always weaker to the dollar because that's what makes them money, and they make sure they keep it there. But actually, I would say this is probably like maybe $17. Yeah, so it's not as intimidating as it used to be. But no, it's a good point. Tank, why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on in this featured, man?
Well, let's see here. This one, for $15, for $21 per 15 pounds, you get a 100-page graphic novel. Which, honestly, plus once you account shipping into that, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's still a little more expensive than a bookstore, which is fine because this is building your platform so you can reach the bookstore. And honestly, you could charge a little more for that, depending on the quality. But that's good.
And that's a deal. The shipping, of course, is in addition. You have to pay the shipping yourself, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Let's see here. So it says, high quality 100+ page graphic novel Stitchwalker is a self-contained tale unfolding in the mysterious and terrifying world of the Scape. Follow the travels of elite Stitchwalker Brogan and his familiar Zabulski as they attempt to escape the malignant clutches of the Clism and attempt to uncover their origins and the fate of the Scape itself.
Okay. Now, first thing that comes to my mind, I am already down here. I'm past the top of the page. I'm down here into the body of the page, and I have no clue what this book is about. Not at all. I mean, I understand the words. I understand the word play they're doing. I get it. But I mean, how many people are going to see the word maligned and Clism and think we're talking about some venereal disease? I mean, really. But it's sorry for that bad joke. But I have no clue what's going on. Do you know what the story's about yet, Dinelli?
Well, looking at the picture, and it looks like, and looking at the what he's writing is a golden age action adventure piece, kind of like a mystery novel, where you have this, I guess, sheriff, or I guess Stitchwalker in this case, and his dog or familiar Zabulski, and they're, I guess, captured by this organization or something, and they're trying to solve this mystery, but I'm like reading the background, and the thing that strikes me the most is as well individual issues of Stitchwalker are available digitally in Comixology, so meaning that you can buy this digitally already. You don't have to buy the book, and it's if that's already available, why do I want to get the physical copy of this book in the first
Yeah,
place?
they're talking about they talk about individual issues, and so it would be this collection is how many so many issues. I don't know, four probably. But yeah, so yeah, I see what you're saying. It might even be cheaper just to get it in Comixology. But once again, it's not paper in your hand. Hmm.
Right, but if you just want the story and you want to really check it out before you purchase it, then you're making a less incentive by having it already in a digital platform, you know, and kind of seeing what's happening, you know.
Yeah. See, and even Draken over here agrees with me. The Clism sounds like a horrible STD. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. It's the pistol does look pretty, Dave. Space Pirates, I'm guessing. See, they're all guessing on what they think it is. We still don't have a clue. But and so you might say, oh, you guys are picking this apart, and you're being very very anal about it. Yes, we are indeed. Should we not? Because what we're
We
trying
need
to
to know
do,
what we're buying. Yeah,
yeah,
we need to know what we're buying, and you're not really telling us. You're telling us you're circling around it. It's like a girl. It's like asking a girl on a date, and you're circling around her, the whole party instead of just going in front and asking her, kind of
hmm
deal.
wow. Dating advice from Denali. Ooh, I could be a show. Dating with Denali. I can see it. But yeah, no, yeah, exactly the point. I still don't really clearly know what the story's about. The thing when you're doing the digital, it's a very questionable thing, right? I get you wanting to have more marketing and spread it, but you're also reducing the value of owning the book, right? It's just little things, and what we're trying to do here is from a consumer's point of view, we are trying to help you understand what we want as a consumer, right? We're not talking to you as a pro. We're not sitting here as some, master Indiegogo marketing people. Well, Tank might be, but we're just sitting here as consumers, saying this is what we see, this is what we feel. So listen to it and make and maybe make some adjustments. But here
What's
I
your thoughts about Pixel?
Yeah,
Since you joined
so
us?
yeah, no worries. So I'm actually on the other side of the fence on this because
Mhm.
as we've seen with Mike's campaign that just started, and it has already crossed, I think it's almost 13,000 now in one day. We see that people don't mind buying books that have already been available on digital as long as it's a compiled set. So
Mhm.
you're getting a trade paperback, and again, like what you were saying before, having paper in hand is sometimes something somebody wants. And if the story's good, if you actually capture their attention and pull them in, they're more likely to buy. One thing that isn't expressed here, which I don't think many people know, but if you do buy from an Indiegogo from like United States or from Japan or whatever, like if you're purchasing this guy's book right now, you're actually going to have a foreign transaction fee on your credit card unless you have a card that supports or has no FTFs.
That's right.
So you end
What
up getting hit for a few more dollars, usually, depending on how much you've paid.
Yep. No, that's very true. I know all about that.
Yeah.
uh, but no, I get you, Pixel. I haven't even got into opinion on the thing yet. I'm just we're just looking, coming down the page. Here I am in the page. I still don't know what it is. Here we
Yeah.
have some what's going on with this. That's all we're doing is just breaking it down. But if we skip all of this and we come down to the art, it's like, ooh, that's nice. See, I
Yeah.
like this.
The grayscale
Oh
stuff or
yeah.
the sepia stuff looks really good. The colored stuff is a train wreck when you get a bit further down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, don't do that.
I
Go with the
oh
sepia, man. That
yeah,
sepia is beautiful. Look at that.
yeah,
Ugh, yeah, bleh.
yeah. We covered this. I think what was it, about 2 weeks ago, a week ago,
We
something
did.
like that.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, but
Um,
we just come in here. Tank chose it, so we're in here.
yeah, that's fine. One of the other things too I noticed, they spent a lot of time putting a bunch of content about the book in that first perk when they could have actually used that to tell more about the story, like actually inside the main content, and really just talked about what you were going to get inside that perk. It seemed kind of weird that they're telling a story in there.
It is, but they're still not telling the story. Now, I'm assuming if we're not going to read
Yeah.
everything, but I'm assuming eventually I found out exactly what this is about. But this, speaking of coloring, wow. Is there any comment on this, guys? Look at the coloring here. The art's pretty good. What do you guys think of this coloring?
It it sadly detracts from the beautiful line work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
It's
have
too
to
But
agree.
the
flat.
sepia tone stuff worked out really well.
Yeah, it's
It
beautiful.
really conveyed a beautiful picture, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's got awesome line work too. But the other one, it's kind of like, oh gosh, the colors are so strong, and oh yeah, there's line work too.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they're going for. Like, the cover here or the picture that they're showing off is very rendered, uh, painterly kind of thing, and then you get into this and it's almost flats. And then some of the pictures have a painted kind of effect, and some of them don't. And I just don't think the colorist really got the tones right.
No, and this right here is the worst so far. That is horrible. And we know underneath of this, there actually is some pretty good line work. We know that, right? We've seen it.
Yeah.
But this is not good. I don't like the composition. I don't like anything about this at all. But there are some other things I really do like though.
I
But
think they
I
should.
really don't like this.
Yeah, yeah. Recommendation would be is getting rid of all this coloring and then make a stretch goal to actually hire a actual artist and just keep the rest of the books, in that
I
separate.
I think the colorist has some talent. I just don't think it's fitting for this book. I don't think he quite gets the story or doesn't get the concept that they're trying to go for it, and has used some questionable techniques for some of the coloring here. I think like it looks like those creatures are supposed to be glowing or something possibly, and it just doesn't come off right. And I think if they spent a little more time separating out the values, because I think part of the problem here is that everything is the same value. Like the
Yeah.
background has the same type of lighting as the foreground, so you can't really tell how far back or how deep things are. If they were using various shades and some other stuff here, it would help a lot, I think.
Yeah, no, it would. And I would suggest go back to the sepia, is what I'd say. But it's hard to find good talent. I mean, it's not easy. It's expensive. These things are done on shoestring budgets. I get it. I get it, But the art thing is a choice. People like and people don't like various kinds of art. What I would say from a common peasant's point of view is tell me what your book's about in the first 5 seconds I'm on the page. That's what I'm saying. Tell me what the book's about. Let me understand it. I want to know what it is you're selling so that I can be excited about, then continue on your page. That's what I would say as far as my suggestion. Anybody else have any other suggestions, or should we move on?
I think that's it for this. We're almost hitting the 9 o'clock hour.
We are, and seeing as we do have Pixel here with us, thank you very much for joining us. I
Sure.
would like to ask you a question, sir.
Go ahead.
You were talking to me about making a new straw poll because the other one is so horrible and it just doesn't count votes and it's just a mess. It is a hot mess, dude. The one that's free on the internet. You were talking about making one of those. How far along are you in that process?
Design mostly. I haven't got the coding done yet, so
I
I've
see.
been I'm still in the process. What kind of happened is it got backburnered as soon as the demand for the coming soon section for IndieCron kind of peaked. So I'm currently in the midst of doing that, and once I get done with that, I'll probably step back and take a shot at the poll.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. We do prioritize what is most important, of course. But yeah, that'd be great because it is a problem, right? I mean, it's because we know, like for instance, Tank got 6 votes yesterday. Now we know that it might probably wouldn't have changed the overall vote because I mean, Kanan just killed it. But um, but his we know he got a lot more votes than 6. Just from talking to each other, we know it's like, triple, quadruple that. So it's like, where did all those votes go? Where do you think they're going? Just melting into the ether? What's happening, you think?
It could be an issue with the way the site was coded. It's possible that everybody was voting at the same time and the database was getting out of sync or was dropping votes. There's a lot of different things that can happen. I can't really speculate, but it's hard to say for sure. It could also be false flagging votes as being duplicates, potentially. Like if it's detecting people on the same network, or like if it's just weird because I think we're spread out enough that everybody watching the show probably had a different IP address and a different location, so it shouldn't have been a problem to vote.
But it
yeah,
is. It's an
yeah,
ongoing problem. Yeah.
yeah.
Aaron, let me see, get close here. Aaron Pahara says, I have a Kickstarter live right now I'd like to promote. Well, go ahead and put what that is down in the chat, and we will promote it for you, sir. And Joshua would like to kick Pixel. No, but I could kick you, Joshua. But no, actually, it's a good point. Now, we're talking about Indiegogo, right? And I'm new to Indiegogo. I'm coming from Kickstarter. And I'll tell you, Kickstarter, although it may be politically difficult and it's certainly more expensive for the creator to use Kickstarter, the truth of the matter is Kickstarter is a better platform. It has more bells and whistles. And one of the bells and whistles it has is you can do live streams right on your page, right on your Kickstarter page. You can schedule them, set them up. I've been involved in many of them. They're great fun. I don't know why Indiegogo doesn't have that option, because that's a really useful tool for a creator. But I guess Indiegogo's trying to catch up. But hey, we over here in this indie revival are throwing so much money at Indiegogo. Hopefully, they'll take some of that and improve their site. What do you think, Pixel? Any opinion on that?
Sorry, I was typing when you were talking. I didn't hear what you said.
That's all right. I was just talking about how Kickstarter has better bells and whistles than Indiegogo.
Oh yeah. Indiegogo is still kind of behind the curve a little bit. They definitely make things a little bit easier on people as far as the financial burden, but I think Kickstarter has a better platform at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, cool guys. Well, that was an interesting show. We had some fun news we talked about. We had some useless news we talked about, which seems to be a daily thing, huh, Danelli?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So news always changing, but we're always having fun, and that's the important thing.
It is. And we thank you guys all for joining us. I see Manny finally showed up. He's always coming in at the very tail end of these things. But of course, work comes first, as does family. But Booster's over there putting some projects up for us. Thank you very much for doing that, Booster. And thank everybody for joining us. This was a lot of fun. We're really enjoying the show. And if you guys have noticed, we're getting more and more viewers every day. And just keep helping us out and telling people about it and getting them over here to join us. And once again, you guys can come up here and sit in the seat and join us as well. So Tank, why don't you go ahead and tell the people about all these cool projects you got going on, where they can find you, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, right now I'm working with Chester Busby, John Dillard, Gaming the System, Tom Mulrooney, creator of Ignition, Manny, creator of Skunk Girl and owner of Good Dog Press, along with Rick Piper of Cross Comics, and we are bringing to you a wonderful horror anthology, which the crowdfunding for that's going to be coming early next year.
Yes, it is, and I'm very excited to be part of the project. I'm actually writing several of the stories, and it's a lot of fun, man. I'm having a good time with it. What else you got going on?
A helicopter.
A helicopter. Well, I know that Tank is also working on his Scalpel Zero, and Scalpel Zero.
Can you hear it?
We can hear it. Thank you, Tank. Thank you very much. He is working on his Scalpel Zero, and I believe that is going to be launching in December. Pixel, why don't you go ahead and tell the people where they can find you other than here and, of course, IndieCron, sir?
You can find me online pretty much everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Pixel Trader. And you did mention Indicron. I think everybody really needs to be bookmarking and following that on Twitter, though, because that's the best place to find me right now, since I'm doing all these upgrades and stuff.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, no, Indicron's a great site, and we're really glad to see it being used and embraced more and more by the pros too, which is an awesome thing. Now, of course, from me, I will be seeing you all in an hour from now on the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition, where I will be emceeing along with my buddy Booster, and we will be on New Hero Comics channel. That's Hillel's channel. And go ahead and Booster and throw up that link, please, to Hillel's New Hero Comics channel, please. And all of you come over there and join in us for that, please. And that's going to be a lot of fun. We love doing the fan edition of Drawn and Quartered. It's a really cool thing, and yeah, it looks like we're getting some kind of preview from Pixel here. He's sharing something cool with us.
I was just kind of teasing a little bit here. Obviously, these are all placeholders. They're not really going to be what's here, but this is the part of the coming soon section that I'm going to have soon. So you'll be able to see new projects that are about to make their way to Indicron, and they'll be featured right here in a little rotating list.
No, it's awesome, man. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And I love how you were able to invade and take over and hack my channel like that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no problem. So, Joe, just for future reference, do not anger the Pixel. Okay? Don't do that. All right, Pixel, thank you very much. And Booster, make sure you go ahead and get that out there, okay? Yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll see you in an hour. And of course, as always, the Denali Lama shall take us out.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another night. We'll see you tomorrow for Fan Speak at 8 p.m. Eastern. And as always, your reality is shaped by your perception, so always make it a good one.
All right, guys. Later.
Aloha.